It's all getting very close at the top of the table. Manchester City, who have 2 games in hand over Arsenal, looking to close that gap to 6 points when they play Chelsea on Super Sunday tomorrow. But for Liverpool, this result means that they have now gone 4 points clear of Chelsea, who they play, of course, Manchester City tomorrow. And they are looking, Liverpool now, hoping to strengthen that position in the top 5.
Anna, better, happier? That was a big win.
Yeah. Of course, you're happier than after losing 4-0 and losing 2-0. So yeah, I think good first half. We were already close a few times. Couldn't convert one of the chances, and then Rio had a great moment. Just before that, I felt that Fulham got a bit more into the game, so it was really helpful that Rio had a great 1v1 moment, scored a great goal. And afterwards Mo finished off really well there. Then you're quite comfortable, not completely, but quite comfortable at halftime.
Rio's goal, it was the step over the check back. It was an incredible goal, wasn't it?
Yeah, one of his strengths, of course, dominating the 1v1. And I think we've seen this season that he gets more and more playing time. And that's also what he deserves, because every time when he plays, he does really well. And he's influencing the game like he did today, like he did against Wolves. And today he even scored a goal, which is vital in football, because goals matter a lot.
And as you say, Mo still showing what he can do as well. It's the lift you needed, though. I imagine that dressing room is a good place to be right now.
It's a better place than it was 2 or 3 days ago or a week ago, but it's also not that after we win, then all of a sudden everything is good again. So we know there's still a lot to play for us.
It's the lift it gives the team, though.
No, that's for sure. Of course, everybody can understand after 2 of these losses, once with 4-0 and the 2-0 was felt more than 2-0. I think we all know why. And then to come out today and beat Fulham after only 2 days of rest, that shows the mentality of the team. I think the same mentality they showed 2 days ago in Paris, although we had a very tough time, but we did show mentality, and we showed that again today, and this time it resulted in a win.
And that's the test you were looking for. You talked about it being a test, this game, to see how you respond, how everybody responds, and that performance just sort of reminded what Liverpool can do.
Yeah, definitely. But I think we've played many games like this season, but unfortunately that not always led to a win. So
or a clean sheet.
Or a clean sheet. Yeah, I think we've deserved to win, but it wasn't that it was by big margins. It wasn't as if we completely dominated the game and overplayed them, as it happened against us 2 days ago. But we deserved to win, but we've played many of these games where then a deflected shot or a set piece led to us conceding, and it ended up in a draw or a loss. So this game I saw today, I saw us playing a lot. But now maybe, I wouldn't say luck, but at last doing justice to how the game went.
So what do you do now? What do you say? What's the message now going into the game on Tuesday night?
Now, first of all, I was really happy with the clean sheet because that's what you actually need almost in every game. But definitely we need that on Tuesday, and I think it was a good first step going into a massive week, because it's not only PSG, it's also Everton in the weekend. So this is a good start of the week, and but unfortunately we were so lucky that we play Wednesday, Tuesday. So that means 3 games in 6 days. So there are only 2 days of rest. So I also told them how important recovery is, because they've experienced even more than I did, because I was looking at it, how intense the game was in Paris. And the game will not be less intense in 2 days, because the fans will be behind us and the players will give everything they have to turn things around. And therefore you need to be top fit, which is not easy if you play 3 games in 6 days. But I can tell you we are up for it, we're ready for it. And Anfield will be ready for it, as I noticed today as well.
Very quick word on Curtis. Do you know what the injury was that forced him off in the game?
Yeah, he felt a little bit, I think it's groin, you say it over here. So it wasn't the moment, he felt it already for a few minutes. So let's hope for the best, but I would be surprised if a player comes off that he's available for Tuesday. But I would almost say, welcome to our season. So every time after a win or after something good happens, there's always an injury following it up. But it's a win, and that's where we should be really happy about.
You go again on Tuesday. Good luck in that. Thank you.
We do. Thank you.
Job done against Fulham, and then Liverpool go again. Arne Slot already looking ahead to a big match against PSG on Tuesday at Anfield, and then the Merseyside derby to come on the weekend as well. Big games coming up for Liverpool. That shows you how crucial this game was. It also shows you how little rest there is between all of it.
Yes, as he said, the fact that you play PSG twice and Fulham in 6 days, because it was Wednesday and then they're playing them on Tuesday. PSG have their game cancelled this weekend against Lens, a big game, and but they've cancelled it to give them a bit of rest. So it shows you what exertions you have to put up with in the Premier League. They're very difficult. The PSG game takes care of itself, and then you've got a small matter of the Merseyside derby where they play Everton. Navigate that. Crystal Palace should be easy. Man United will be really easy at Old Trafford. They normally always beat them. And then Chelsea. I was waiting for that.
From me or from Owen?
I thought it would be him. It was you. No, but then of course you can see how difficult the games have got. They don't stop. They don't stop every 3 days. You're just churning out. And this, we're not even talking about if they go and beat PSG. Then they'll have the semi-final to contain, at the end of April as well. So the games never stop. That's why we love the Premier League. That's why, everybody can beat each other, because every couple of days you've got a new game, a new opposition who've had more rest than you. But that is what you have to be able to do if you're the best teams. It's as simple as that.
I haven't even mentioned Chelsea and Aston Villa, which could be straight shootouts for the Champions League places. It's very, very tough for Liverpool, considering that they also just played PSG. They played Man City before that as well.
Yeah, I mean, the fixtures are not very friendly, not going to lie. But actually, Chelsea have it worse. Chelsea have really, really difficult fixtures. So, but again, you're champions. You're meant to be consistent, and they haven't been consistent this season. They haven't scored as much. They haven't defended as well. And I think there's a lot to take from this season. Not only, I think, for the manager, but also for the players. Recruitment-wise, they're going to have to try and address it this summer. It's going to be a huge summer for Liverpool, losing Robertson and Salah. The imbalance, out of possession. They really struggle about pressing teams. But if they can find a way to finish fifth, imagine if they get an early goal against PSG.
Yeah, you never know.
It could be game on. And also, one of the hardest places to play.
The one thing you would say is that Aston Villa and Crystal Palace, who they're going to face, look as if they're going to progress in their European competitions. So those particular games might have different meaning at that time. And you never know how Liverpool will get on against PSG. But if they do get knocked out, they'll have more rest when they face the likes of Chelsea and Aston Villa and Crystal Palace, because they must have their minds on other competitions like the European ones, because Crystal Palace and Aston Villa, if they go through their respective competitions, they'll be favourites to win it, won't they? So you never know.
Doesn't Ngumoha have to start on Tuesday?
I think he will do, I think Mo will start. I think Ngumoha will start. Probably Ekitike will be through the centre. And then they've got Gakpo and they've got Isak just in case. So the firepower's there now. Whether it's too late in the season, they've got 5 good forwards now, which they probably needed throughout the season, which they haven't had.
What he needs to do, he needs to throw the kitchen sink at PSG, doesn't he?
Florian Wirtz will play as well, you would suggest.
I think everybody thought, why did he play back? Why was he so defensive? Do you know what I mean? So I'm sure he'll have a go, won't he?
Yeah, have to have a go.
Yeah, you never know.
Go down fighting. That's what Liverpool fans want. Entertainment. All the Liverpool fans know how good PSG is. Yeah. We all know how good they are, but go down fighting.
And you never know what can happen at Anfield on a European night. For Arne Slot, that game, how much about his future kind of hinges on that game and the outcome, or you don't think so?
More the performance. I don't think anybody expects them to go through. But if they get another goal, they could, because the crowd could get a hold of the game. But I think it's more the manner in which, if they were to go out and the way they finish the season, I think they've been so flat for a while. And I think that's probably what's discouraged. I think a lot of even Liverpool fans, I think he had a lot of credit in the bank after last season. But I just think performance... And again, I don't think it's all on him, by the way. I think the recruitment has put him in this position. But I think if they can find a way to finish the season in 5th, they could salvage it.
Yeah, I don't think losing to PSG, because their European campaigns was being good. They qualified in the top 8. They've beaten Galatasaray. Losing to a great PSG team won't determine whether he stays. It's where he finishes in the table. If he finishes 4th, he'll be fine. If he finishes 8th, he won't be fine. It'll be as simple as that, I think, because finances will dictate getting in the Champions League or not, because of Owen said they're going to have to invest again heavily in the summer.
Yeah, it doesn't get any easier for Liverpool, does it? But do you feel like this may be a bit of a relief for Arne Slot, this performance today, or do you think he's got his mind straight onto Tuesday's game already?
A bit of both. I think he'll enjoy the moment. You know, like he said there, every time you win, it just takes that little bit of pressure. If you'd lost today, it ends up being one of those, like, where do we go from here? You know, you're in a really difficult predicament. You're getting punched on the nose every single week. I think he'd be delighted with a reaction from his players. He'll be looking at, OK, what's the best team that's going to give us a great chance in midweek? Get the crowd behind you because you know they're going to be a 12th man for you. So I think he'd be delighted, and I think he'd be proud of his team. A couple of players have told him that they really want to play in midweek on Tuesday, the likes of Mohamed Salah. So they've given himself a chance as well, because I said before the show, before the game, if he doesn't finish in Champions League places, I think it makes it really difficult in terms of his position next season. If he does, it gives Liverpool a problem. And they go, well, oh, what? You have got money in the bank. You won the league for us last year. We won it once in 30-odd years. You've done it in 1 year. So they might go, let's keep him here. So, but if they don't finish in Champions League, I think he makes if they're umming and ahhing on it, I think it will make it go the other way. And obviously with Jabi Alonso in the room. But they're giving themselves a chance. You can see this race here is... Teams are stumbling. Manchester United have got some tough games to come. Aston Villa, Liverpool. So who knows? But that was a big, big win for them, because what you didn't want as well, we can't see them there. Fulham would have gone 2 points behind them if they'd have beaten them. So it gives them a chance, that's for sure.
What do you think about that, Izzy? Do you think Liverpool stay in the top 5 at the end of the season? He keeps his job?
It's a good question, Peen. It's a difficult one. I think there's a zoom out assessment that needs to be made of where they're at. And, you know, the turnover of players, Liverpool are losing Mohamed Salah and Andy Robertson, so the squad's going to look different. New leaders need to emerge. Recruitment again, you can't shy away from the fact that the recruitment in this season, you know, 450 million spent on the players they brought in. Of course, unfortunate injury to Alexander Isak, hasn't been able to find his rhythm yet. But I'd look at Wirtz, I'd look at Ekitike, I'd look at Frimpong. I'd be like, they're players that are starting to feel it. So I think it'll be a really interesting one. If they do finish in the Champions League places for next season and, you know, a good account of themselves in Europe, I think the assessment needs to be they need to back him. I do. But I think there needs to be significant improvement in performances, also alongside getting results until the end of the season to make sure they're looking up, not down, in terms of the teams they're playing against. Because Everton, for example, team that, you know, point today against Brentford, chasing Europe, and the Merseyside derby comes at a good time for Everton. He'll have a week to prepare for that, and Liverpool have got a potentially horrible tie against PSG on Tuesday night, where it could be really intense. You know, they go into that game in a Merseyside derby, we know anything can happen. A hungry Everton side, you know, they're going to come hunting for them. So I think it's an interesting context, but I'd be, you know, safe to say, in terms of my opinion on that, I think you need to be really patient in how it gets assessed, because I don't think Liverpool are the type of club to be rash about anything they do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're not the type of club to make hasty decisions. And you said at the start of the show, you don't really like talking about the fact that Arne Slot under pressure at all, because
I hate it.
If they do go into the top 5,
that's just how we are now. That's just how the game is. The managers can, you know, with no matter where the club, and you always feel with Liverpool, they have given managers, they always give them time. But as I said, I keep reiterating it, that, you know, Jabi Alonso is a manager that a lot of fans would probably like to see. But I feel that for Arne, he hasn't perhaps had, like Izzy just said, the opportunity to work with all of the players that he's brought in. And what if they were to make a change, somebody's going to get really lucky with this group. Now, yes, they need a bit more energy brought into the team, and how they're going to play going forward is going to be interesting. But there are a lot of quality players, and I think if you look at that 52-point mark, if Alexander Isak would have been fit, you could have guaranteed there'd be a lot more points on the table, because he would have given you a lot more goals. Ekitike got injured as well. He's been in and out of the team. So there are problems with the team, but there are also things to look at. And if you were a manager or an opportunity looking from the outside in, going, tell you what, then there's still some really good players. You know, players haven't hit the heights. Virgil van Dijk, big fan, been unbelievable. This year hasn't hit the heights. Mohamed Salah hasn't hit the heights this season. So a lot of players haven't gone and played to the level that they can do. So that's been the difficulty for Arne Slot. And at times he's took a little bit of stick, and his honesty has obviously provoked a lot of conversation with people. But I still think he's a very, very good manager, and also deserves a lot of respect.
Andy, Rio, congratulations. Rio first, I think. We'll talk about your goal in a minute. But that was needed, wasn't it, tonight?
Yeah, definitely. I think coming back to Anfield and getting the 3 points, it's a good feeling, a great feeling, and the atmosphere was great again. So yeah, positive day.
And the goal?
Oh yeah, it was a special goal. Robin made the overlap. But he created space for me, then I just cut inside and just aim for the corner.
Special goal, special celebration. Are you going to do it before you leave Anfield, the scuba?
Absolutely not. We'll be having words about that in the changing room. Nah, look, he was unbelievable. Just shows you sometimes don't listen to the experienced players. I'm screaming at him to say that I'm coming on the overlap, and then he just goes and cuts inside. So it was a great finish from him, great performance by him, and look, he just keeps learning, he keeps listening. He's such a good kid. I won't tell him that only in the cameras, not to his face. But him and Trey are honestly they're a pleasure to work with, and they just listen to all the lads, and you can see them improving all the time. And he's got a big future ahead of him, but the here and now is pretty good as well.
And that's just it, isn't it? A special night for him, special night for you, because there are not many of these games left now for you at Anfield. So how are you after all that?
Yeah, look, obviously, I knew my probably song would get sung a couple of times.
At the start and the end.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Look, it's like this club means everything to me. That's it's a fact. I've been here 9 years. I've grown into I was a boy one time. He might not believe me, but I was young one time, and now I became a man here. And look, this club's made me who I am today, so I owe them a lot. And look, I'm just going to try and enjoy and embrace every minute I'm at this football club. And when I get the start, then I just try and enjoy it. And thankfully the win was the most important, and a clean sheet nice to go along with it.
And you have dreams and ambitions as well, and it can make you the player that you want to be being here, can't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think Liverpool, for me, the biggest club in the world, and to start so young and the manager having belief in me and all the players, it's great. So just got to keep working hard and keep pushing on and just go again.
More scuba celebrations then?
Yeah, hopefully.
Andy, would you like to do the honours? Look at that look.
Well done.
Not will he be doing that, and in fact, they'll be having words about that in the changing room. You don't care about that celebration. You think
I don't like it.
You said it doesn't matter. He can do whatever he wants.
But he can do whatever he wants when you win the game and do that. And it's his first goal, so his first goal at Anfield. Excuse me. So you'd forgive him that little moment of enjoyment. He's as Robbo said, he's a really nice kid. Wants to learn, wants to improve, wants to be better, wants to be a star at Liverpool. And he's going the right way. And, hopefully there's going to be many, many more moments like that. Without that celebration, of course.
It was quite some way to score your first ever goal at Anfield.
To be fair, I've seen him score 3 or 4, and they're all worldies. So I don't think he does basic goals. I mean, he's just a brilliant footballer, technically. Every time he gets it, he just runs straight at you. And every defender just scared for their life because this kid is too sharp. He shifts the ball back up really well, doesn't he? And he gets people off balance, a little chop there.
Yeah.
And with his low centre of gravity and his speed, I don't think you can really stop him 1v1. That's why I think you've got to get more bodies over, don't you, Maka?
He just needs a little bit of help, but once he cuts inside and then goes back onto his left foot...
What time is it? 8:10.
8:10. Richard, first one.
Hi, just if we could start off with Rio Ngumoha, wondering what you made of his performance today and his goal in particular, and does it give you another glimpse of what he can do in the future?
Yeah, but not only the long future, also the near future. I think I've said a few weeks, maybe months ago, 1 or 2 months ago, that his playing time would increase because he got stronger and stronger, showed more and more when he came in, but also in training sessions, that it wasn't only a nice trick, but there was more and more end product to what he did. There was more and more power to what he did, which is needed if you play against the best defenders in the world. And I don't think anyone is surprised that then at this moment of time he scored his first goal. He has such a special quality which you don't see a lot in football anymore, dominating the 1v1 situation, and that's exactly what he did when he scored his goal. Making the ball free by twisting and turning and then hitting it in, like a Mo Salah finish, I would say, is something I'm not surprised to see, because in training sessions during the last month we saw more and more that he got more and more power to hit the ball as powerful as he did today. And that's why he had now 3 starts in the last 7 or 8 games, I think. I don't know exactly, but Wolves and Tottenham and this one. And pleasing to see that he did what we know what makes him special. That's dominating 1v1 situations.
Greg?
Is he ready to start as big a game as Tuesday?
Yeah, I think he's ready, yeah. Now the question, of course, is can he do this 2 days later again? That's another question. But would he be able to play and perform at that level? Yeah. I play him because I see him as one of the players we are having. It's not like he's less or in the beginning of the season. He was a young player getting some experience with the first team. But now he's just someone I can pick for any game. So also the one from Tuesday. But I think in general, that's not to say about Tuesday, but in general, expecting from a 17-year-old that he can play 3 games in 6 days. Because, of course, we were so lucky and fortunate that we have the Wednesday, Tuesday fixtures of UEFA. You could question if that's realistic, especially for the ones that have been there in Paris and saw that intensity. That's almost for every player too much, as you noticed today in my lineup, that I was aware of how intense 2 days ago was and how intense 2 days from today will be again.
Paul?
Let's check on Curtis. What
I just said trying to be funny, although I don't know if it's funny, but this whole season has been so many things are constantly repeating themselves, and that again was an example of that today. Every time when something positive has happened this season, someone, I don't know who's responsible for it, makes sure there's also something negative happening. It cannot only be positive this season. So there must be an injury involved after a good win. And that's why I had to take him off. I would be surprised if he's available for Tuesday. The good thing was he didn't feel it in the moment. He felt it coming. But since it's such a short turnaround, I really hope he's available. Because we need all the players that we have. But I would doubt it if that's going to happen. Yeah.
Paul?
You said earlier on this season that you've missed that individual moment that changed the game in your favour. Yeah. That was probably a great example of that in recent months. Because the game that just sort of following the start.
I completely agree, as I usually agree with most of you. That's also something different than what we've usually seen with us. So I think we started off really well. First 20, 25 minutes, we were creating not the biggest chances, but we had a few good moments in and around their penalty box. And then there were indeed 5 to 10 minutes where I felt like, okay, Fulham is now coming into the game. And we all know, because you guys, I see always the same faces, we all know what's going to happen then with us. We concede. That has happened every single game almost. And that's why today it was for the first time maybe that in that moment, not that we were outplayed. Yeah, we were outplayed 2 days ago, but we were not outplayed in that 10 minutes. But they were coming a little bit, as Nottingham Forest game a little bit, and I got a corner kick and scored immediately. Today, at last, exactly at that moment, Rio had his moment. And that tells you how crucial goals are and how crucial momentum is. Because what if we, in the same game today, we would have conceded in that 10 minutes? Would have been a completely different game. And now, because we scored, we had the momentum. And 5 minutes later, we scored the 2-0, which has happened so many times here at Liverpool. When you get the momentum, you can score another one. And so, yeah, that's why a goal is very important. But that quality he has is also very important. And hopefully he can show this many more times in this stadium.
Lewis, last one.
Does Alisson have a chance stream in the next 2 games next week, Dudley still?
For Tuesday, you mean?
Or Tuesday or Sunday?
Oh, Tuesday, I don't expect him. He's not training with the team yet, but he's working very hard on his recovery, so we hope to have him back in the near future. But he doesn't train with the team yet, so he will not be performing Tuesday.